circle of human perspective.
There we go. Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry we are late. It's Mercury retrograde. I'm assuming that's the problem. Probably. What do you think?
It sure seems like it, because we really struggled from my end to get on.
Yeah, and our cameras kept freezing and all sorts of weirdness, but we're here.
Yeah, and every time I turned myself off, I couldn't turn myself back on to get back on your screen. I would just like disappear, and then my computer was resetting. So I'm actually on my phone, guys. I've got my phone propped up on my keyboard. I think you can see it here, right?
No, I actually cut it off for you.
Oh, good, good.
Let me see. You are a little bit left of center, though. Let me see if I can.
Oh, I can move that, see?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
How's
perfect.
that? Because I look like a dot now. I'm a dot on my phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they get a little peek behind the scenes while we're setting things up. Well, it's, you know, move this way, move it this way.
Yeah, I kept telling Shane, go on without me. Go on without me. It's like,
yeah, but
no.
I had to. Oh, I still never even sent out that Discord link. So I will
send Discord a link. Hi, Discord.
So you put out a really cool video earlier today talking about the light beams, pillars, light pillars.
You were the first one to comment too. I saw Shane first.
Got you back on this.
You got me back. Well, I asked you last week, or was it the week before? Because that was wonderful with the wing makers when I was traveling.
Oh yeah.
I said, have you ever heard of these light pillars? And you actually did. Like, how long ago?
But it wasn't long. It was like 2016. Like, it was before I was awake, but right before. It was like 2016, and they were talking about it. And I didn't know anything about the Mandela effect at the time. So, and I'm still, on the fence about it, like I am with everything. It could be, a Mandela effect. It could be chemtrails. It could be energies coming in. It could be so many different things.
The Schumann resonance rising could be affecting the pillars of light. It's like, if you guys internet search light pillars and then hit images, you'll get to see some beautiful displays of lights. And I looked it up, and they said it was from ice crystals.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I know. And then I looked up sundogs, because one of those pictures on my video is mine. I captured a sundog driving one day. It was so weird. It was this huge aura around the sun, and on either end there were like mini suns, just bright little lights, right?
Yeah.
And that's from ice crystals again.
Now, something else you might notice, a lesser version of the sundog. If you ever notice you're driving and you notice like a rainbow in the middle of the sky, and you're like just a little dot of a rainbow, you'll notice that it's at the exact same height as the sun is in the sky. So it'll be perfectly level. And then if you look that same exact distance on the other side of the sun as this is,
there'll be another rainbow.
Catch the other one. Yeah, so it's like just sort of a toned down sundog, a version of the sundog it doesn't have the full halo around it, But we've all even seen that at night with the moon.
With the moon, yeah, I never saw them in the daytime. Something's going on, right? There's something in our skies that are changing. And Dead GPK, he knows a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. He's just hard to get on to talk about it, because he's shy and quiet, and he's in all the chat rooms all the time. But, I get a lot of information from him. He sends me a lot by email.
Yeah, you got to appreciate what he does with all the pictures and all that good stuff.
He's got a lot of knowledge. So they're saying officially ice crystals, which leads me to the grand solar minimum. So I looked that up, and there's nothing official on it. Everything authoritative, silent, just like the Mandela effect. So to me, that means that it's worth investigating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, Scott Harrison just covered, I don't know if you saw his video today. He put one out that somebody put together. I didn't go take it or anything, but I
Oh, the
watched his
quiz.
video. The
Yeah.
quiz, yeah. They're
Yeah, and
basically,
I put down all the different answers in that quiz. So I don't know who they were asking, but they didn't have Forrest Gump. They didn't have the VW symbol. They didn't have the thinker statue. They didn't have mirror, mirror. And I'm like, where are they asking these people?
also, you know, how did, you know, Etch-a-Sketch make it on the list, but not the thinker? It's just kind of strange. It's kind of strange because the swastika.
They must be asking in a place where these things are more popular.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But you would
I loved
think
it though.
Rodin's
Great video,
thinker,
Scott. Great video.
Yeah, you would think Rodin's thinker. Oh, was that part of the quiz? Did you look at the quiz? Maybe part of the quiz was to mention things that you remember. I don't know.
It was, but the top 10 didn't match my top 10. And then everybody down below, if they were from America, they had a different top 10. So it depends on what country you're in terms of what your top 10 is going to be, for sure.
Yeah. It was interesting, though. I thought
Berenstain Bears wasn't on the list, and Mandela dying wasn't on the list. So,
yeah, how could you miss the most important ones?
They were definitely in a country asking people where they sell a lot of Etch-a-Sketches, and the number one was the swastika going the wrong way.
Yeah, and I looked at that, and I see it both ways, and the main way I see it is the way I remember it. You know, it's like
I remember it both ways because when I looked up the ancient symbols, they went one way. I think they went counterclockwise. Is that right? And then the current symbols, starting with starting with the Theosophist, Madame Blavatsky used a swastika for the Theosophist Society, the Theosophical Society. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Right.
And she had the swastika right dead center in the middle of her society emblem. And I did a video on that too. And I forgot to mention some of the most important parts. Okay, guys, here's the bits I left out. That's where Hitler got his swastika symbol from, was from the Theosophists, the secret doctrine. That's where they introduced the world to the New World Order for the first time. That's where they proposed the United Nations. That's where they coined the term New Age. And that's where they first used the term Aryans. How weird is that?
That is strange.
So you've got all this proof that the secret doctrine of Madame Blavatsky in the 1880s, when she was, I think she was not only a spiritualist, but she was almost a medium, right? She was meeting with and counseling the aristocracy of the time. And then it went down through Rudolf Steiner, then to Alice Bailey, and they were meeting with the Morgans, the Stanleys, the Guggenheims, the Rockefellers. You know, they were with the industrial aristocracy. And they taught them all this secret doctrine, and you can see how it's turned out. But when you read the doctrine, which I've done, it took many, many years to get through these materials. It doesn't sound negative. It sounds like a United Nations to help all countries succeed, which is what the United Nations originally was for. And a one world, new world order to distribute the resources of the earth fairly, so nobody's left out. Nobody goes hungry, you know? So it sounds compassionate and cooperative, but it hasn't quite worked out that way.
Isn't it kind of strange how that's another emblem that has a real negative connotation to it because of how, you know, you think Nazis and things like that when you say it, but you know, if you go deeper, just like the all-seeing eye, if you go deeper, there's a deeper meaning with it, and it wasn't negative originally.
No, but it's kind of been taken on board by negative people, negative groups, and then we think it's negative, which is fine with them. They want us to stay away from all this stuff. They don't want us to know what they know. So it's really interesting that all of that was kind of spoon-fed to Hitler, and then that made the swastika bad, didn't it? Yeah. But it's been around. I mean, I saw like it carved on rocks in pictures that were 10,000 years old. And I think it represents the sun, doesn't it? It's like...
I'm not sure. That makes sense, though. Yeah. sort of the
spinning solar rays. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, that's strange though. It's the same way with the word occult. I think what they do is they try to put a lot of fear on it so that, you get to that and you're like, oh, I don't want to look into that. You know what I mean? That's evil. That's devil worship and all this stuff. And then, and then if you do like what you did, you were probably surprised reading it and you're like,
I'm
this
like,
doesn't sound negative at
New
all.
World Order? New Age I wasn't afraid of anyway, but New World Order is a good thing? I'm reading this stuff going, really? And this is older materials. I mean, the New World Order was proposed in like the books from the 1920s. Yeah. So, it's interesting how you can take any concept and you can twist it for good, or you can twist it for bad, or you can twist it for neutral,
Yeah, I know when I was reading David Wilcock, and he was getting into the writings talking about this coming golden age and everything. Mm-hmm. It sounded like the founding fathers weren't negative either. Like, George Washington and these people, they had a different view of what was coming than what it's sort of turned into. So even at the time that they first started using the all-seeing eye, it might not have been negative at that point either.
Right.
The very people that we consider are negative because of them using it,
I don't know, because they were all Freemasons, and were Freemasons good in the 1700s? They might have been. They wrote the Declaration of Independence as if they were, establishing liberties and freedoms and justice for all. That does not sound bad to me, So I don't know.
There's been good and bad all along, and just like, any kind of other races, we typically want to throw them all in the bad or the good pile, but I think there's a mixture of good and bad in everything. And, there's like this balance going on within the government. And at some point, clearly the negative took over the positive. So, that doesn't mean they're all negative.
It's that duality again. It's that duality of the good and the bad, the high and the low, the right and the left, the dark and the light, the hot and the cold. It's that duality. Yeah. It's interesting because I think the masses now of people are starting to explore these subjects. Yeah. And if they get as knowledgeable as the humans who are oppressing them, well, look out, oppressing humans, because you're not going to be able to pull that off on us, because we're not going to run away from it and be afraid,
Exactly. And we're
going to be like, oh yeah, we're not afraid of that. Look what the Mandela effect's doing to me over here, right?
Right. And that's the whole thing, it's like we have the numbers of people. Even if we could get a small percentage of people to wake up, I don't think everybody needs to wake up, that whole 100th monkey effect.
Yeah, where have you heard that 7%? Have you heard 7% is enough to make a change globally in the whole species? Have you ever read that?
No, but what I have heard that with the exponential effect of combined intention, you only need 32 people to have the amount of power of everyone on a single level. You know what I mean? So like singly, we have this much intention,
Power.
So as it increases exponentially, if you have 32 people, that's enough where if everyone was just putting the amount of a single person out intention-wise, you would only need 32 people to have enough intention to cover the whole population, basically.
Well, then what are we doing here? Look at the power in this community here, because we at least have 60, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. If you really think about that, it's like, because 32 is not a lot. But, there was that thing, I think, what was it? Like if you were offered $1 million or
a penny a day,
or double. A penny a day doubled for 30 days, which would you take?
Everybody says $1 million, but if you give me a penny and double it every day, it's way past $1 million, isn't it?
Or it might be $1, starting out at $1.
I think it's a penny.
Is it?
I think so. Check the chat room. See if people remember. One day you have a penny, then you double it, you have 2. Then the next day you double it, you have 4. Then the next day you double it, you have 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even at $1, I think it's such an astronomical number that a penny would still work. I think you'd still come out ahead, even at a penny. Yeah.
Well, this is interesting because I'm so jealous. You're gonna have SMQAI on. I'm so excited. I've been chatting with Sherry. And I didn't know she did Gateway. So when you do that show, really ask her a lot of questions about what she learned during Gateway, because she did the Monroe Institute Gateway program.
Yeah.
And not many people have actually done it. It's very expensive and it's very in-depth.
Yeah.
And it's this whole idea about, I think it's from like 74, 72, that time frame. It's all about this holographic universe. And they didn't even necessarily get into all the simulation theories, string theories. I think they did multiverse though, and they did multiple dimensions in the hologram, right?
Right.
And it's using your brain, learning how to use your brain to tap into other places, other times, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
when you add that to matter shifting and changing, it really does become a sense of the brain and the heart. I don't think they understood how important feelings were. Like feelings really drive the matrix even more than thoughts do, And when
Yeah.
you combine your feelings and your thoughts together,
Mm-hmm.
what we can do with our reality is probably infinite. There's probably no actual limit on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's really one of the reasons why when you're doing the intention, you have us think of a really happy time.
Yeah.
Because if you can infuse that feeling, especially if it's heart feeling, if it's like a really
Yep.
pure love, and you combine that in, that connects us better with each other, that makes our intentions more powerful. All from Lynne McTaggart's Power of Eight book.
Yep, yep. She talks about that in this book, and most of you have read this. And today I just highlighted the summary again of what we're supposed to do before intending. And what you're saying, Shane, that whole adding feeling to it empowers the intention, maybe 1,000-fold, maybe 1,000,000-fold. We don't know how much the
It's hard to
feeling
gauge.
does. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to gauge.
Hmm. But whenever you have love or compassion, that's why we do things for the children or anything like that. And because our group really does have that loving compassion towards other humans, no matter if it's a veteran or a child or someone just starving or needing water or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
or somebody
That can,
suffering a fire or,
yeah,
like you said, contaminated water or war or famine, whatever. We are totally working in this group for the good of the whole.
hmm,
And then everybody in the chat can add their own personal requests, and people clear and clean on them and pray and intend and send energy. So,
yeah, and it
you know,
feels good too.
it does feel good, which is I wanted to talk to you about something. I
Hmm.
know we can't like stick things like, remember Cynthia Sue Larson was saying the xenome effect, that you want to be careful not to stick things forever in a state that you want to be changed. But I do have to ask you, how is your shoulder? Is your
No, it's
shoulder
good. Yeah.
okay? So you want to hear something weird? I was talking to my other Power of Eight group. I've got like this and two other groups going on right now because I'm doing the master class with Lynn for the whole year with my sister Leslie, who's often in the chat room here as Healthy Aging, and she was like a certified therapeutic touch specialist before Reiki came on board, and aromatherapist. And they were asking me, because we add light to our powering up. That's something our group developed. And Lynn said, hey, be creative. You want to add something with your group, do it. So when we're breathing in and out of our heart with the power of eight, they're breathing in and out of their hearts. But our group, we're adding a beautiful light that comes in and
I
fills
love
us.
that too.
Yeah. So we're adding light and doing all kinds of stuff like that. And sometimes we breathe in love and exhale gratitude or forgiveness. So we change it up a little bit, so we don't get stuck or bored. Um, but my knee healed. So I had a car accident that I think I told you about where I was hit on a sidewalk standing at a Circle K. And I
Hmm.
had a lot of, things that had to be fixed. And one of them that kind of stuck with me is the inside of my right knee would always ache if I went up and down flights of stairs too much. I live on the third floor, no elevator. And it would hurt more going down than going up. For some reason, you use your leg muscles coming up, but when you're going down, you really kind of push on that knee. So that's since 2013. And I said to the group this last week, I said, I don't know at what point the pain in my knee went away, but last year in 2018, while we were doing this every week, and while I took the healer's course with Lynn for the power of eight, the chronic pain in my right knee disappeared. Coincidence?
I think not.
Synchronicity? Timing? So I just had this feeling that you probably didn't have any shoulder pain anymore in the same period from like last April, May, June. You were talking about it a lot. We talk about it. And now, you've had obviously the tuning, you've had the BQH, you've taken the BQH, but you've also been intending for the world. And now your shoulder pain's gone.
Yeah, becoming the conduit when we do this. Yeah, and you
And
get the leaky
Lynn's
bucket
whole
effect.
point in this book is that you don't necessarily want to be the focus of the intention. That's lovely. But if you're giving the intentions, it spills back on you. And while you're intending for other people in the world, you also become healed in the process.
Yeah.
The leaky bucket.
It's like altruism. It's the selfless. That's part of the love part too, because
love, altruism.
It's I guess service to others.
Compassion.
Yeah, compassion.
Empathy.
And it's like flowing through you. It's flowing through all of us as we come together here and do this.
So
it's flowing
through our heart and we're sending it out like a toroidal field, it's healing us in the process as we're sending it out. It's amazing.
I'm so glad she did this research because it's really amazing. It really is amazing to see how all of this, I mean, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt for me anyway. Very scientific. Too. I'm glad she took that approach.
She took 10 years because she couldn't believe it. She was doing those intention experiments with up to 15,000 people on specific things. And people were coming back to her with miraculous healings of relationships, money, success, bodies, physical ailments disappeared. And she just couldn't get her head around it. She's like, why would coming together to intend something beautiful and healthy and good for someone else or something else heal the sender? She was like, what is going on here? And then she took it into the lab and started experimenting with it for 10 years and found, if you read the book, it actually does. It actually physically, emotionally, mentally heals the sender as well.
I really think that's just knowing that gives us as participants in this group intention. It gives us more power to put into it because the more faith you have in it, the more your intention will work too. So seeing the actual science behind it actually increases the power of this as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's
if you
amazing.
Don't believe it and you're sitting there going, nah, this won't work, chances are you're not going to have a healing, even if you're kind of testing the waters. But if you jump in and you think, wow, this is amazing, this is fantastic, and give it your all, how can you not come out of it healed or a better person?
And I think of, Jesus when, he would heal and he said, your faith has made you whole. And it really makes you think about, why would he say that? He didn't say, I made you whole. Your faith.
No, he didn't say God made you whole. He said your faith has made you whole. Faith is like thought and feeling. Faith is more than belief. Belief is just something you believe in, but faith is something you feel passionately about.
Yeah,
so in a way, that's the key. He's telling you to get the deep feelings going. I loved your chat last night with everybody. It was so great. Fun, and especially I love hearing you and Bob and April talking about the Bible because I was forced to read it, so I didn't retain very much of it. You guys remember what you read, which is super cool to hear.
Oh, yeah, I was raised like, this is the manual for life, just like you need to know, your car owner's manual, you need to know this, so that's like out of everything, that was the important book to know, so I did study it a lot. And, and back to that story with, because I brought it up last night with the woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of his garment. Jesus didn't even know until after, Right. It's not like he was like, okay, let me pray for you.
Let me heal this person.
Let me heal this person. He's like, I just felt power go through me. I felt power go through me. Who touched me? And they're like, all these people are touching you. What are you talking about? And he's like, no, someone touched me and pulled the power through me. He felt it go through him. And probably the leaky bucket thing. He was more in tune to all of that stuff, and then there she is healed. And of course she was, So it just makes you wonder.
So we've got us here doing this healing work and exploring the nature of light, love, healing. And then you've got people exploring the veil that they're trying to tear down to show you the true reality. Then you've got people talking about the holographic universe. And if you put it all together into one big place, you really do have the secrets of this reality. It might not work in another dimension or another reality, but it works here.
Yeah. Good for us too, right?
Yeah,
It's
good
like
for us.
all the little worker bees doing their job, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, April had a recommendation
Oh, okay.
that she sent me for tonight's, if you feel like it, for tonight's meditation.
I
And
didn't
she
have
said,
anything at all,
oh,
so.
okay. She said, wouldn't it be great if all of the alternative methods of energy work, light work, tuning, sound, herbal, aromatherapy, Reiki, what else, am I missing? Homeopathy, everything. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the alternative healing modalities were as available to everybody here as they are to the few who know about it and the few who can afford it? Because it's never covered on insurance, is it?
No,
Rarely.
that's actually one of the things been talking to Carrie Camp about is the fact that she's considered non-compliant because she doesn't want to do chemo and radiation. She's decided to do this other route. She's lived past they said she'd live a year or two. Here it is. It's been over 2 years now. She's still alive doing
Wow.
her own thing. You would think they would have, just like they have school vouchers, that, hey, we would be spending this money on you anyway. If you want to take this and, because from their point of view, the person's going to die anyway. So just give them a lesser amount than what
Yeah, just give them something.
yeah, maybe 80% of what they would have taken, or the average or whatever, and
And they
let
get
them do.
nothing.
Yeah, but they get nothing because they're considered non-compliant. But yeah, that goes into this whole thing, and I think Carrie would appreciate that because that really, the system's broken right now.
Yeah, the
It's not hard
system
to
is
see that.
broken on all levels, on
Yeah.
health and pharmaceuticals, but it's also broken on finance, and it's broken on media and education. But what's not broken is the human being and the family. The family and the human being is still thriving, still loving, still managing to cope within this broken system. Isn't that
Yeah,
amazing? We are very, very resilient.
yeah, we really are. So yeah, I love that topic. That's
And
awesome.
I know some of these modalities are available in Europe because I was over there for about 23 years, and I could get more homeopathy on the insurance and medical mainstream in Germany than I
Hmm.
could in England. But the Queen and that whole royal family practices homeopathy. It's just not as available to the population. But it is in Germany. Like I was there in 1990 to 92, and they prescribed more St. John's wort for depression than Prozac. They had 6 million people on prescribed John's wort, which is like Hypericum. And
It's
it's
a
so
natural.
yeah, it's a natural
Hmm.
herb, if you say
Right.
it that way here. And it's so powerful that it comes with a warning that you have to see your pharmacist before taking the herb to check out whether it interferes with other medications. That's how powerful that herb is. And
Wow.
like saw palmetto for prostates. If anybody has like prostates getting bigger, making them pee a lot, look into saw palmetto. They use it all over Europe. They prescribe it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. That just getting the word out about that stuff is just huge because, watching some of these health channels and stuff, you're like, wow, and it's like natural stuff, and it's like, and they used to do that at the pharmacies. It's like, dude,
Yeah, you
50
used to get the
years
natural
ago,
stuff.
yeah, that's crazy that how much they've changed because the pharmaceutical company came in, they want to make a buck, you know?
Well, this is like at the root probably of all evil on the earth. All the broken systems involve a handful of people doing things that break the system just to make a lot of money. Just to make a lot of money. And it's so much easier. I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to make a lot of money, but
Yeah.
at what cost? You know, at the
Because I think the
cost of
thing
human
is,
health?
yeah, you can't patent something that's natural, so they have to
No,
come up with their own thing
a
because
chemical.
then, yeah, a
Then they
chemical.
can patent it and own it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. The other thing in the news, this is like a hot topic that we don't want to say it very much. Apparently, everybody's flooding me with emails that they're going to mandate like 64 vaccinations for every American. And I'm like, really? They're going to make everybody like stand up and get like, I think they can put 5 in a shot. So what's 64 divided by 5? 12? Everybody's going to get 12 shots? I don't think so. I'm not lining up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I don't know. I don't know either. I like my daughter to read this sci-fi book in 8th grade that said that that's how they like got rid of like most of the elderly population. They wanted to reset their own Earth and get rid of a bunch of people, so they did it that way, which is kind of interesting that somebody wrote that as a sci-fi horror film or book.
Yeah, and you know what the strange thing is, if you come across people that say they have the flu, and then you ask them if they got the flu shot, most of the time they have. So why is it that the people that get the flu shot are the ones getting the flu? You know, just from a very.
I don't care if you guys get vaccines. You can have as many as you like. Just don't make me get them. You know, I'm like, go have them, have them. I'm not mad about that. I don't care about that. I don't judge anybody. But don't make me stand in line and get the things that I'm against.
Okay, so one of their worst arguments for this whole thing that just makes me like, do you even hear what you're saying? Is like, well, if everybody doesn't get it, then the people that don't have it will be spreading it around to the people who do have it. Now, what kind of sense does that make?
Yeah, because they forget that they've got the shots and now they're immune.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if everybody else gets it. You're safe. You're safe with your shot. Just go away with your shot by yourself. No, it's the fox who cuts off he loses his tail, and then he runs around and gets all the other foxes to cut their tail off. It's like, I don't want to be the only one getting this stuff. I want everybody to get it.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can see an uptick in the just shows and things like that where they're pushing it, you know.
I'm like, are they just trying to scare me? I can't tell you. I've got like a dozen emails this week from people, friends, and organizations going, you know, get ready. And I'm like, really? And I'm trying to block out all this 3D stuff. But we're bombarded with it. I don't even watch mainstream television anymore. And my inbox on my email is bombarding me with 3D.
I haven't heard anything recently about it, like as far as direct emails or anything. But, you know, there's always that chatter going on about it. But, yeah, I'm not going to go anywhere and get anything. Are they going to knock on my door and say, hey, let us in? We've got a couple shots for you.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I know it's worth
12
billions.
Shots for you.
It's probably worth gazillions. Is that a word? Like, what happens after billions? What's the next word up?
Trillions. After
trillions. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure it's worth trillions.
So, if you think about it, though, now they've got the stuff you can just breathe it in your nostril, right? And I don't know if you've seen that, where they administer it. Instead of in a shot, it just goes into, I guess, your sinuses or your lungs or whatever. Yeah. Who's to say if they really wanted everybody to have it, wouldn't they be spraying it already in the chemtrails?
You know? Just spray it. Just spray it on everybody. And good old Bill Gates puts it into mosquitoes, you know, just bzzz.
Well, they're like, well, I don't want it. I just want you guys to have it. We can't spray it in the air, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. This world gets wackier and wackier all the time. But, you know, like Bruce Lipton always says, it's good. It's good if things are getting extreme, because that means that there's a chance that they're going to tumble and something better can replace it. You know, as long as it's kind of just ticking along, you can't really get rid of it. But as soon as it gets crazy in your face and you just like, no, we can't do that anymore, then you have an opportunity to try something else.
Yeah, Biker Babe saying that she had measles, chicken pox, etc., and she's fine. I never had measles. Maybe they still...
I had them.
Did you? I had chicken pox, and, you know, I'm fine. Maybe a scar
I had them all.
There. Yeah.
I had them all. I had a little nursery school when I was 18 in Cairo, and they all got it at the same time. It was so awesome, you know. It's like chicken pox for 7.
Get rid of it.
Measles for 7.
See, my sister got it, and then, you know, I'm like all laughing at her and stuff, and then like a week later I got it, so we kind of went through it really close together.
Yeah, the Brady Bunch got it all at the same time too. Did you ever see that show where they're all up in bed eating ice cream? And we used to have chickenpox parties. We were like, okay, quick, get your kid in there, get it early, because if you wait, it's harder. It's harder. My husband got it at the age of 30, and he said he was just like ready to die when he got chickenpox at 30. It's not nice. I think it's like the pox. I think it's like related to smallpox, actually.
Yeah, and that was huge. I remember watching Tom Sawyer when I was a kid, and that was something going around way back then.
Yeah, didn't they like save smallpox somewhere in the world in a vial in a vault, because they're not sure whether it's ethical to completely eradicate a disease. I'm like, is that for real? Do they really have it somewhere, like hidden away?
I think they have everything somewhere locked away, right? Like in a vault somewhere. They keep it
I
all.
wouldn't be surprised. Vault 7. What was all this Vault 7 about? Ooh, now we're getting into conspiracy talk.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I
think Vault 7 is information, but I don't know.
Okay. Well,
like documents and stuff.
If somebody offers me an underground tunnel, I'm staying above. I'm staying up. I'm not going under.
Yeah, that's interesting you brought that up, because I saw where, I guess it was about a year ago, where, gosh, I'm not going to remember her name right now. Teresa Yarnos, I believe her name is. She's from Divine Frequency. She had contact where they offered her, or said if she was offered to go drop everything in her life and go to the inner earth, never to come back again, would she do it? And she said she wouldn't or whatever. But
if nice little aliens offered it to me, I might. But if it's DARPA, no.
Right.
If humans want me to go underground, no. But if nice little blue people come up and go, hi, would you like to live with us? Bunch of Oompa Loompas, or, Yeah,
well, what she pointed out, she goes,
think of that.
She said, I've got a mission here. I'm doing my mission. I know I'm doing my mission. I don't want to drop my mission and go do something else. And
good for her.
And I think that's a good way to look at it. If you already feel like you're doing your mission, she said, while other people said that, heck yeah, I'd go in a heartbeat, just it's better than this.
Is life in the physical body the be all end all? I don't think so. That's not, it kind of feels that way while you're alive. You don't want to volunteer to see the hereafter. You don't want to run to it, but I don't think anybody in our community really thinks that being in the flesh is the be all end all of their existence.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
It sounds fun, but and I felt like she felt. I'm like, well, I know I'm doing my mission. I've never felt better. Why screw that up? Might regret it.
Good point. Good for her.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't feel like we have to run to it. I'm going to look at the David Wilcock show, because he must have had a third one tonight, don't you think? The Ascension portal.
I didn't get a notification that I noticed anyway.
But he said there were like 6, I think, or 3 or 6. I'm back into that vortex math. It's one or the other.
Well, it was the last one was so long, wasn't it? Like 3? I think I ended up looking, and he was still going when we got done.
It was at least 2 hours, the last one, right? It was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. But I'm not worried about. He's kind of basing it on the historical religious texts indicating a flash or a flare, So he's thinking ascension is going to come as a flare, or one big output from the sun.
And you remember me saying that before. I got this vision in my mind of everyone, if you were to speed up the last 50 years, maybe the sun would look like it's having a flash. If you played it fast forward. Time-lapsed it. Yeah, if you time-lapsed 50 years within a minute and watch the sun, because I've seen the sun go from yellow to this bright white, almost rainbowy when you're looking at it, especially if you can look through a camera and tone down the colors. It's very white and rainbowy now. And, at some point it changed. So I'm sure if it was sped up, we would see some sort of flash, and we would probably be in the flash right now. So that's not necessarily to say it's a moment.
I've got some photos for you. I should send you these photos next week. I took photos of my trip to Nashville out of the plane, because the whole way from the tip of Florida, the south tip of Florida, to Nashville, I got above a white haze. In all directions was a white haze. And you could see the sun shining on the ground through the white haze. But above where I was, it was all crystal blue, like too blue, like dark blue. And I was like, have I been looking through a white haze for so long that I forgot how blue the sky is? Or is the blue getting darker somehow? Is the sun changing its energy so that the blue that is our atmosphere looks darker blue?
I think, and that's a great point you bring up, and you can sort of test this out using polarized lenses and filters for the camera and things like that. You can actually, If you have a pair of polarized sunglasses and you look up at the sky, you can actually turn your head like this, and you can tell that the particles up there are organized in such a way that the sky get lighter and darker.
Okay, well, that's what I was doing with my camera. I'm going white, light blue, dark blue, and I'm going all over my little window.
Okay, and unfortunately.
Yeah?
Unfortunately, I think our atmosphere is getting much thinner, and they're trying to combat it. Because to me, it's like we're seeing the blackness of space more than we used to. We used to see more of a rich
They're putting
atmosphere.
some white haze down there because I'm telling you, it's like a white fog.
Yeah.
All the way in all directions.
And that's what we see from the ground.
That's what we see from the ground. So is that making a yellow sun look whiter?
Did it look yellow?
White haze?
Did it look more yellow up there?
Darn it, I couldn't see the sun. I mean, the sun was there somewhere, and from my seat the whole way, it was like above me or behind me. I would have loved to have seen if it was a yellow sun from up there with no white haze.
See, now the troubleshooter in me is like, wish I could see the sun from above.
I know. Who can fly us up to about 30,000 feet?
Well, when you get up in the morning, I'm usually still up, but you go like 4 or 5 in the morning, and you go outside, and the dew begins to drop. You'll notice these spheres of light around like street lights and stuff. It'd be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's called diamond dust. I looked it up.
Oh.
What
when
is
have
that?
You noticed that?
They said it was crystals. I've never seen it, and I see it at night when I'm walking the dog, and there's dew, and I feel like, who do I feel like? I feel like Vincent van Gogh, or Vincent van Gogh. I don't know how you guys say it, because in Europe they say everything funny. I feel like him, because everywhere I look, there's a halo coming out of every light. So it's lighting up some crystals, and the streaks go long, right?
Okay, so yeah, so there's streaks, and you kind of have to have good eyesight to see it at a distance. Mine's pretty good at a distance. It's like super close is where I have trouble reading stuff and everything. But so you've got this kind of a ball of light, but then you've got these almost really fine micro streaks, and they look rainbow
coming off of it, hairs of light.
Do you notice the rainbow iridescence in it, though?
Yes, unless they use an eco-friendly bulb, which has gas in it, and then it gets a dull, dead glow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know if it's white, I think you might have trouble with those amber colored lights.
Yeah,
but if it's a really white
amber
light,
colored ones.
You can see because it's really putting out all the white's putting out all the
colors.
Rainbow colors. Yeah, so you'll notice that there's these perfect little tiny streaks coming out of it, and I think all of that could be connected with whatever they're spraying. So the dew point drops, and
I don't know what's going on.
Well, the reason I say that is because I've seen the plane fly right in front of the sun while it's spraying, and whatever's coming out is extremely iridescent.
Wow.
So I know it's coming out of the plane that way. That's all I'm getting at.
Okay, so, and as Mike says from My Sky 3D and Dead GBK and a lot of us now, we're like, well, maybe this stuff is good for us. And even if it isn't good for us, let's think that it is, and let's bless it and love it and make it
maybe it's better than the alternative, too.
Yeah, make it good for us.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do another air cleaning, cleansing meditation one of these weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got hit with a Contrail Chemtrail Britannica ad as soon as I put that video up.
Oh, I noticed that. Did you even say anything about it, though?
I said it once. Wow. I took pictures of cosmic rays making funky designs, zigzags and patterns in the clouds or chemtrails. I said it once.
See, I thought it was. I thought I caused it. I'm like, oh my god, I shouldn't have put that in that comment.
No.
Did that make that pop up? But it was.
Yeah, I'm going to blame you. You made them say contrails.
But yeah, I know I mentioned that about that, but it's just not in a fearful way or that I'm worried about it. It's just really just trying to figure it out. I'm not worried about anything like that, so don't feel like.
I know you're not. But I'm just saying, there was this haze that I flew above, and when you're up at 30,000 feet, it's crystal clear. Up there,
it's like a deep,
above the
blue.
clouds. Oh, it's a dark blue. It's deep and rich, and I'm like, why is it so dark? Why is the blue so almost navy?
Yeah.
I do not remember the sky looking that color.
I think you're seeing the blackness of space darkening it.
Wow. So so maybe the Maunder minimum, the grand solar minimum. So the sun is like not putting out the same amount of energy. Okay, we can deal with it. We're adaptable.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just spraying because during that period, when there's fewer solar flares, you get more electromagnetic storms on the Earth, which could knock out satellites, communication, YouTube, email, internet. It could knock out everything.
Yeah, and I know that we're going to rise above whatever it is, and it's going to end up being positive, and we've got power over all of that stuff. So even like 5G, I don't worry about any of this stuff.
Well, here's what I figured. Whatever they're putting out and putting up, it comes from Earth. Right now, they're not taking it from another ecosystem outside of Earth. And we come from Earth. Our bodies are completely made up of Earth molecules. And whatever they're spitting around and throwing around, it's from Earth as well. So what usually happens is we adapt to it, right? Like there's babies and children being born today immune to AIDS in Africa because the human material body adapts. It adapted to that disease or virus.
And we know we're more than our human instrument here, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that right there gives me, like, even if they screw it up or something, I'm not worried about it. We're more than our bodies, clearly.
So much more. It'd be nice if eventually we could get the majority, which is altruistic, compassionate, kind, cooperative. It'd be really nice if we could get that part of humanity in charge of the systems, the infrastructure, in charge of government, in charge of medicine, in charge of education and media. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we could get the majority who are kind, considerate, and cooperative running the show here? I mean, that would just be like, to me, heaven on earth. That would be the golden age for me, really.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the future, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. I think everybody here is. That's so wonderful. I do go into other chat rooms, and it's kind of spreading. This optimism is starting to spread, but you still hear a little bit of sadness, a little bit of loneliness, and a little bit of fear. You know,
it's easy to get stuck on that stuff. You know,
yeah.
I mean, but I feel like really, you know, when I think of the darkies, for instance, I don't think it's their job to win. It's their job to keep us distracted. You know what I mean? That's their job. It's not like they know they can't win, but if they can keep us distracted from focusing, putting our focus somewhere positive and making change and focusing on the negative and kind of getting stuck on that and getting wrapped up in all this chaos, because there's plenty to go around. I mean, there's so many rabbit holes to dive into and get caught up for weeks on end on all of these different conspiracies.
They're all pointless. When you come out of them, you're no better off than when you went in them.
And you can't do anything about any of them.
You can't do anything about it anyway.
You know, are you going to storm the White House or something? And you're like, no.
Or like, I don't know, how would you stop chemtrailing? I mean, how?
Yeah.
So I guess the point is, you want to get humanity to the point where nobody in humanity wants to do evil, dastardly things. If nobody wants to do it anymore, problem solved. Right. There's nobody to join them. There's no next generation, right? If you call them darkies, I call them evil, dastardly, you know, from that cartoon where the guy had like a Russian Natasha, Boris and Natasha Bullwinkle.
So yeah, I'm actually thinking about algorithm triggers when I do that, you know. But that's a good one.
Oh God, yes, we're totally triggering the algorithms tonight, but we always seem to survive it. Usually we don't talk about this stuff, but it's nice to talk about it and laugh about it, you know. It's always the elephant in the room, so it's better to point it out and laugh at it than try to ignore it.
Yeah, and a lot of people think, why do you ignore? I'm like, I'm not ignoring it. I know it's there. I'm fighting it the best way I can by focusing, putting my intention somewhere else, which is exactly why we're here doing
Here's the paradox, okay? You cannot fix a problem until you see it. But that which you focus on grows. Yeah. Look at that paradox. We're not supposed to look at bad things, but we can't fix them unless we look at them, right? So we've been given this paradox to work out in our own way. And the people who have worked it out talk about transmutation. That's where you look at the bad and you don't let it bring you down, you transmute it.
And that gets into, I think, was it Einstein that said you can't fix a problem from the same level? And that's what we're doing here. We're actually combating it from
Yeah.
Yeah, taking a step back.
It's transmuting it. We're transmuting the problem in our own way.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, shall we do our intention? Is April Lunsford in the room? We're going to do yours tonight.
Yeah, I saw her.
She was on last night.
Yep. She was actually on last night, yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I got to hear. I think I missed Nancy, Not So Fancy Nancy. I have to go back tomorrow morning with my coffee and listen to Nancy's call.
Oh, yeah, it was a good one, getting the update with her. So, yeah, she started it off. I was so happy she called in right away because I had sent her a message. I was like, we'd love to hear an update from you. And then at the last second, she hopped in. I was like, awesome.
Cool. I'll listen to that tomorrow.
I don't see her here, but if she's busy, she can come back and do it.
And if Ronnie in VA ever calls and talks to you again, ask her about the flipping grand solar minimum. She has got a lot of information about the grand solar minimum.
Ronnie's here, yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie, I was really impressed with your comment. So next time you talk to Shane, tell him what you know about those worldwide dust storms.
She's overdue for calling.
Yeah, you are overdue.
There's April. Hey.
Hey, April. Call in next Friday and tell him what you know
dinner,
about
and she's like, oh, crap, I got to get over to my phone or whatever. You know, I know people listening to other things. They're in the tub drying their hand off so they can type or something. Who knows? Yeah,
I know. And I'm like, I cannot even talk on my phone. It winds up some kind of gobbledygook, you know. Yeah. It's so much easier on the computer. But, with Sherry, with SMQAI, is that this Monday or the Monday after? It's the 8th.
It's a week from this Monday. So it's
you guys are going to want to listen to that too, because that's all about the CIA secreting away documents that say they believe what the Monroe Institute has been teaching is true, that this is a holographic universe that responds to consciousness.
And to me, that adds validity to what Monroe was doing, the work he was doing, because they were like, we need to look into this and be a part of this, because, of course, they want to take it and weaponize it or something.
They're definitely Montauk, that whole weaponization of the human mind. But guess what they forgot? They forgot the heart. They skipped the heart. Thank God they skipped the most important part when they started weaponizing this stuff, and that's the power of the human heart, the emotions.
Ronnie says, laugh out loud. Shy now that you hit the big time, Shane. No, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, because Fridays are on Oneness Talk Radio.
Yeah, but they just started. It's a brand new station. I think, you know, there's definitely more in our chat. I think I saw it get up to like 4 people listening on. So they're brand new, you know, they're just starting their viewership. And and that's why I kind of jumped on board. And it's like I was even playing ads. It's not like I'm getting money for them or anything. I'm just trying to support the channel.
And the ads are for the channel, for the other people on the channel, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
so anybody that's interested in that stuff can go check it out. So really, I'm just trying to help build it because I might pick up a few viewers just the opposite way. You know, maybe somebody like Shri and Kira, and they come on over. So really, that's the kind of, you know, the new world I'm looking towards, where we're all, you know, instead of it being like, oh, me, and money, it's just like, hey, we could just help each other out. And, you know, I'm sure they get money, but they got to pay for the transponders or whatever you got to have for radio, you know.
They're early days. They'll grow this into something big. It'll be a big network someday with like-minded people listening.
Mary Quinn is here. Hey, Mary. Turn
Mary.
The TVs off. Turn the programming off. That's definitely true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so let's do this. I'm excited.
Okay, so I have to figure out how to do it on my phone, guys, because I'm not on my computer tonight. So I'll touch my phone screen and see if I got it. It came up.
Okay.
I'll show you where.
Try to, you want to move your phone closer to you, and I'll let you know what the sound's like before.
Yeah, because I get kind of quiet, we know. And I'm not using my, oh, great. Please don't bark. She's been good all this time. If I put her in the bathroom, she scratches and barks. So if I leave her out and take
We're all animal lovers here. We're all animal lovers. Nobody's going to get too upset with
us. During the meditation. Okay? Shh. Good girl. Okay, this is not the time to start. It's because I banged something on the table when I moved my computer, and she thinks somebody's coming in the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to go?
We used to tease our dog like that. Knock, knock, knock. And have it run to the door, just tricking it over and over again.
Yeah, see, she hides when it's bedtime, So we knock on the door and pretend like somebody's trying to come in, and she runs out to protect us, and we grab her and throw her in her puppy crate. Not fair. So mean, right? Right? We're like
That's
using her
hilarious.
instinct. Yes. Okay, so everybody take a nice deep breath. Whoa, back in the seat, doing it. I missed it last week, but that was wonderful, that Wingmakers material. Which I'm going to listen to again because I don't think I got half out of it what I could have by listening to it once. So take a nice, deep, relaxing breath. Hold it for a moment. And when you exhale, let out any tension from anywhere in your body. And on the next deep inhale, hold it for a moment. This time, exhale out any stress that you encountered during the last week. And finally, take a nice, relaxing, deep breath in, hold it, and let out any tensions that you may have experienced today. And we're going to start breathing in through our heart center and exhaling out of our heart. And even though we're breathing in through our mouth, nose, or lungs, we imagine that breath going straight in through our heart and exhaling it back out through our heart. And this time, on the in-breath, imagine a bright, clear, clean, crystalline light coming in on the in-breath and going back out on the exhale. And that light can be any color that you feel you would like to experience right here, right now. Breathe that color in, coming in from God, from Source, from the creative universe, from your higher self, and exhale it back out. And as you continue to breathe in through your heart center, now would be a good time, if you wish, to send a grounding cord from your root chakra all the way down into the center of the earth. And your root chakra is at the base of your spine. Let it go down, down, down. When it reaches the center, let it spread out in all directions like the roots of a tree. And now, as you're breathing this beautiful, clear, healing light in through your heart and exhaling it out, let that light fill you from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, to the tip of your fingertips, and let it surround you. Let it be above you, below you, in front of you, behind you, and all around you. And now, let's imagine that we are each doing something that we love doing, something that we feel is our purpose, something that we feel is our heart's desire. And imagine doing that right now. What does it look like? What does it feel like, sound like? Are colors involved? Are other people involved? Is it in nature somehow? Just imagine doing what you absolutely love doing. And now that we're feeling connected in a heart-centered place, let's start to imagine that all people, when choosing healthcare, medicine, doctors, different healing modalities, let's just imagine that they have the ultimate open choice available to them so that everybody can afford it, so that it's covered by insurances, that they can go to all the different alternative healing practices and modalities available now, whether that's quantum healing or sound healing or light healing, or whether it's something a little more traditional like homeopathy and Reiki and aromatherapy. And what about those amazing herbalists who know how to use plants to heal the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body? And let's just imagine that that is available to all people right here where we are in this reality matrix we call Earth, whether you want to see it flat or round or a different shape, perhaps as a dome or a diamond or an oblong. And let's imagine that taking care of your body and your mind and your emotions is completely free and in your hands, so that everybody, especially you listening to this, can afford to get the help in creative and new places with creative and new healers, in creative and new modalities of healing. And I'm going to go silent for a bit while we imagine together what that would look like, where we would get that from, who would be treating us with these different means of energetic healings. And when you're ready, imagine that your family can receive these really creative alternate healing methods, that your community is open to it, that your country is accepting of it and is willing to back it and fund it, and that the whole world, Earth, can achieve and get the same results by being open to the same different creative, natural, energetic healing modalities that you're imagining, that you would like to receive. And when you're ready, just start to move around. Move your ankles, your arms, open your eyes, move your neck a little bit, and release your grounding cord back into the center of the earth. Are you back? But that seemed fast. Did you guys think that was fast?
No, I don't
Did
know.
it
I
feel
can't
fast?
remember when we started. It was good though.
I think we're supposed to be silent more and grow our silence together, because we hardly do any silence. We do mostly meditation here instead of silent intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning in the master class with Lynne that we should be silent, silently intending, visualizing from a heart-centered space with love what we're all thinking about. Like we're thinking about the same thing at the same time, and we're giving it our love and our heart energy, and we're visualizing it happening. And she recommends silence.
Yeah.
And yet we do very, oh, sorry, I gave that horrible symbol that isn't horrible. We do very little silence here. We do mostly meditation instead of silent intention. So what do you think? Add more silence?
I think the silence was good. Yeah, Jane saying it was Jane.
Hey, Jane.
I think it was good. I even liked the one you did, the one where we did the affirmations ourselves. I know everybody can't do that. Maybe they're, you know, I don't know, can't speak or whatever. But
Oh, the
I
verbal
like how you,
ones?
yeah, I like when we switch it up. It's good. I think it makes it less routine and more, keeps you more into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how did we do those verbal ones? Yeah, we couldn't hear each other and we would just say it out loud. We would say
Yeah.
it, we would repeat it and use our voices. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was cool.
Because it helps to hear yourself, like we
Yeah.
were talking when Debbie Hazelton was on, to hear
Yes.
yourself,
With the that was awesome with
the
all the
tapping.
EFT tapping
Yeah.
and
That's
to use
amazing.
your voice. Absolutely. And I love the one where we do the toroidal fields, where we're
Mm-hmm.
actually spinning the energy from above and we're spinning the energy from earth at the same time.
You know what's interesting about that? So the toroidal field is sort of donut shaped, I guess you could say, but when the whole of the donut is much smaller, you end up with this sort of a funnel thing. And when I was watching uh,
Yep.
Allison Coe talk about how we should, in one of her latest videos, she was talking. They were saying how to imagine like a beam at your chakras, going through your chakras, but then to funnel out so that more of the cosmic energy could come through. And I was like, that's still like a toroidal field. You're just
Yep.
seeing just a part of it. You know what I mean? And it
Yes.
funnels
And
down through the center of that toroidal field, right down through your chakras, and
yep.
you know,
Did
so
you see the primer fields? Because he's showing two toroidal fields, donuts on top of each other,
yeah,
with the heart
yeah.
being the center. So, do we have two toroidal fields with on top of each other, where one is spinning out and fueling the other going in, and then that one's going out and fueling the other to go in? So their energies go in and out forever and ever, infinitely.
Yeah, like Gel and what were their names? He
Gail
had
and
that.
Gregory Hogue,
Yeah, he had that. The one that you
one
turn it,
toroidal field.
but you turn it and you can see how it spirals around through it or whatever. But
And
yeah, you
then
can
when
imagine it going both ways, though. Yeah.
the primer fields puts two toroidal fields one on top of each other and spins them in opposite directions, supposedly you're getting lift, you're getting instant gravity, you're getting the spin of a planet, if you believe in planets, or the sun, or the solar system, or the universe, or the
Yeah.
galaxy.
Yeah. Some say that the planet's actually shaped like a toroidal field, it's like a torus. You know.
Yes. I
So
think the answer is the Taurus, and Dust in the Wind and his wife have been dreaming about toroidal fields and
wow.
Tauruses. It's like this information is being downloaded into us, and us doing those meditations, and Alison Coe doing the funnel, and Deb from remember Deb who had the empath channel. She was
Yeah.
fed this information. It just came to her to work with toroidal fields.
And that was one of the reasons why I saw the debate. I'm like, what's this debate about? It's not sort of. I didn't feel like it was to jump off of the globe and into the flat. It was like, I think, just to make us pay attention. What is this trying to make us pay attention
Oh,
to?
you mean the flat Earth?
Yeah, just to make us
Ah,
consider it, because yeah, we were kind of stuck on this ball model, you know. But then sometimes people sort of, they're open-minded enough to go to the flat Earth, but they're not open-minded enough to say, well, maybe it's not either. What if it's something else? And then I think it was One Harmony that said it was shaped like a torus, and I was like, wait, a torus?
a Taurus, which
That's
creates the
interesting.
toroidal field. Bye, guys.
And that's sort of, that's how a magnet, in that
That's what he
video,
did, that primer fields. You
the
guys
primer
watch the
fields.
primer fields. It just shows two toroidal fields, one on top of the other,
And that link
creating.
is in, just for those who missed it 2 weeks ago. It wasn't last week because
That was
Eileen wasn't
Wingmakers.
with us. Right. But the week before that, that link is still in that
Okay.
description. So you can go check it out if you don't know what we're talking about. You definitely want to check out that video.
It
And
shows two
I left your,
Tauruses.
yeah, and I left your link in for the powering up. Is still down in the description
Oh,
box. So
awesome.
yeah, so if you guys want to go do the powering up through with your own meditation on your own, you just basically use the powering up video that she
Yep.
has, and then just add your own intention after it. It can be
Yeah, I
whatever's
just
in your heart.
power up and then I quiet, and you can just do your whole meditation and intention after you've been powered up, if people don't want to power themselves up.
Yeah,
Cool. Awesome.
awesome. Well, this was wonderful as
Yeah, it was
always.
fun.
And let's see. So, yeah, if you have any questions, email. I'm talking to you, Eileen.
Me?
Sherry about the SMQ coming on. If you
yeah, I want to hear all about Sherry's gateway experience because she's done it. She's done what SMQAI is researching and talking about, this CIA document that's been released that shows the Department of Defense believes we're living in a hologram, and they believe that human consciousness can alter the hologram.
Yeah.
And Sherry's done the program, she hasn't been taken in by the Defense Department or anything, but she's done the Monroe Institute Gateway program.
Yeah, and on that same video we were just talking about with the toroidal field video, what was it called again?
The primer fields?
The primer fields. In that same video, we have a link to those other, I think it was Beyond the Veil, that read the whole. Yeah,
and SMQAI, I put him in one of my links.
Right. So, yeah, if you guys want to check up on that. But that's going to be a week from Monday. So, yeah.
It's all related. It is all. It doesn't talk about the primary fields in there. It just talks about the hologram. But it talks about human consciousness manipulating the hologram that is our reality. Hello, that's Mandela effect, right?
Totally, yeah.
Totally.
I did want to let you guys know not to miss Monday, because Monday afternoon, as well as I'm trying to find the day we're on here. Okay, so Monday evening, of course, we have Paranormal Frequencies, but at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 Eastern Time, Monday afternoon, I'm going to have Angela Gabrielle back.
Nice.
Who talked to her son. She had messages from her son who had passed away. So a lot of people have been asking, like, where is she? Is she ever coming back? Monday afternoon, be here, and we're going to get an update from her. She's got pictures and all sorts of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. So Monday's a double header, so to speak.
It is a double header. We're going to have to have a rest in between.
Yeah. But luckily we're late. Sherry and I go on at 9, so I'll have a lot of time.
And who's coming on with you and Sherry this week if it's not SMQAI?
We're going to have a series of just cool paranormal stuff, and then we're going to have someone named Jean. She's a viewer that's got some really cool stuff, and she's also...
I know Jean. She contacted me. You put her in touch with me because she wanted to talk about the alien experiences, because she's experienced the sonic boom. Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about her experiences, and I think Sherry's going to have some cool stuff to offer with that about out-of-body and stuff, because it sounds sort of like one of my experiences, which I was fearful about when I first experienced it, but then later found out, I was going out-of-body and had no idea. So we're going to have a packed Monday. We'll put
it's going to be busy. At least everybody's got Sunday off, right?
Yeah. Sundays, family days. So.
The day of rest.
Yeah.
Even God had to rest one day.
Amen to that. Well, lots of love to you guys. And thank you so much, Eileen, for coming on. And we'll see you on the next one.
Okie dokie.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.